All right, we're back with another edition of Hitting the Books, and joining me to break down Week 14 of NFL betting action is the great sports betting content creator from north of the border, the one and only Shantelle Shan. Shantelle, how you doing? Hopefully you're staying warm.
Hey Dex, doing good. Getting a little bit colder out here, but I heard it's colder there, so
Yeah.
I'm not jealous about that.
Yeah, it's been cold here in New York. Cold, 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 kind of like the New York football teams. We're going to start with them. The Jets, they are 3-9, clinched another losing season last week as they lost to the Seahawks. This week, Gang Green, they're in South Beach, a warmer place. They will visit the Dolphins, who are looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, Miami, 7-point home favorites. The total points line for this one is currently at 44.5. Are you rolling with Gang Green to pull off the upset in this one, or is there another play that you like here for this matchup?
Dex, it's hard to roll with Gang Green when they're just so brutal to watch offensively. They average about 18 points a game, but also when you factor in Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked like the Aaron Rodgers that we've seen in the past. We know that the age has kind of caught up to him. I hate to say that, but this could possibly be his last year as a quarterback in the NFL. But despite all of that, the New York Jets, they're also going to be without Breece Hall. I think that's where they could have done some damage when it comes to the run game. Braylon Allen is going to be in, so he might have himself a decent game. And despite the fact that the past Jets rush, the pass rush has actually looked pretty good. And as you know, Miami kind of struggles at times when it comes to their O-line. I still feel like when it comes to the Dolphins, their offense is rolling right now with Tua. Tua actually has never lost to the Jets, which is an interesting stat. I also think that when it comes to, Tyreek Hill, you got Smith, you got Jalen Waddle, I don't think the Jets will be able to keep up with them offensively. So I'm going to lay the points with the Dolphins.
All right, laying the points with the Dolphins. Sorry, Jets fans. Chantel, not on your side. Let's see if she's on the side of the Giants, who were eliminated from playoff contention. They are 2-10. They'll be hosting the Saints on Sunday. They are 5-point underdogs. Big Blue has lost 7 straight games, but if you like them as dogs in this game, you can find them around plus 200 on the money line. So if you're looking at that over-under, great deal of points not expected in this one. Numbers 41.5 there. So what's your best bet for Saints versus Giants, Chantel?
Dex, you said it, 7 losses in a row for the Giants. This is a Saints team. They're actually still fighting to win the division. I know they're under 500, but they're actually just 2 games back, which is absolutely crazy. But as you know, that's how the NFC South is. So that division is up for grabs. So I feel like the Saints will actually have something to play for. And the Saints defense has actually been something to talk about because in their last 4 games, they've held their opponents to under 24 points. As you know, this is a Giants team that struggles to put up points. Now, the Saints did give up about 5 yards per carry to Kyron Williams last week. So I think a guy like Tyrone Tracy could have himself a day and have some success there. But I think the Saints will get this one done. So I'm actually going to lay the points with the Saints here as well. Tough week for the New York Giant football team.
All right. No love for the New York teams at all whatsoever. My director, Joe, is probably just shaking his head, agreeing with you, knowing that you should just lay the points there. All right, next up, we're going to look at an NFC West showdown that features the first place Seahawks. They're 7-5 against the Cardinals, who are 1 game back at 6-6. Now, Arizona, they're 2.5-point favorites here. The total points line opened at 46, but now it's down to 44.5. Do you have the Cards covering at home, or are you taking Seattle in the points here?
Well, this is a really interesting one, Dex, because this game is going to have playoff implications written all over it. They played each other a couple of weeks ago when Seattle looked great defensively. They shut down the run game. And one of the biggest storylines this season for Arizona has been James Conner. I mean, he's been balling. So when you take a look at that, he has to be playing great in this game for the Arizona Cardinals for them to have success. And I do think the Cards playing at home, their defense is gritty. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to have a lot more success in this game because they are playing at home. Also, keep in mind that Geno got sacked 3 times last week. And as I mentioned, Arizona's defense is gritty. They're top 10 actually in sacks. So I think Kyler Murray is going to play better. I think James Conner is going to have a better game on the ground. So I'm going to take the Cards to cover at home, but I think the Seahawks win. I think this could be like a 1-point game.
Oh, got it being close. Okay, Seahawks could win this one, but you got the Cards covering here. That should be an interesting one, really important matchup there in the NFC West. Now, on Sunday Night Football, we have an AFC West battle as the Chiefs, they host the Chargers. Kansas City, they're going for win number 12 on the season. They are 4-point favorites. Now, we know the Chargers defense. They can be dominant. We saw them pick off Kirk Cousins 4 times in Week 13. What's your play for this divisional matchup?
The Chargers are the number one scoring defense in the league. They've been great this season. The one thing that I do want to say is despite the fact that they picked off Kirk Cousins 4 times last week, Kirk Cousins is not Patrick Mahomes. And I know that people have been talking about how Patrick Mahomes hasn't really been himself. The offense for the Chiefs haven't really balled out this season in terms of putting up points. And when these two teams met earlier in the season, it wasn't a high scoring affair. It was a defensive battle. Kansas City took it 17-10. It's also just really tough to win in Kansas City. I think the last time the Chargers won in Kansas City at Arrowhead was back in 2021. So it's been a minute there. And so I think this one could be another defensive battle. Kansas City, throughout the year, they only give up about 18 points per game. The Chargers actually only have one win against a team above 500. So they haven't had much success against really good teams in the league. I actually think they might be pretenders, just throwing it out there. But also, Isaiah Pacheco is back, and I think the Chargers will try to have to stop him as well. I think Kansas City wins this one at home because, as you know, that's their home field advantage. So I'm actually going to lay the points with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they get it done, and I think it's going to be a really close game.
All right, there you go. Laying the points with the Chiefs. Last thing for me, Shantelle, I like my player props. What's your best player prop bet that you like for Week 14?
All right, Giants fans are not going to like this because I already picked them to lose.
Oh,
But the
man.
one thing about them, they have a terrible rush defense. Alvin Kamara, his over-under set to 82.5. I know that's a high number, but the Giants rush defense can't stop nobody. So I like the over there for Alvin Kamara.
That's an easy one there. Not making the Giants fans happy, but I can totally see Alvin Kamara running wild at MetLife Stadium. That is Shantelle Shan, one of the best when it comes to talking betting around the NFL and a bunch of other sports. Shantelle, appreciate the time. Stay warm up there in Vancouver for me.
Thanks for having me, Dex.
No problem.